So I want to make this video right now because I have a fire in my heart and a sense of outrage just around leadership and how leadership is operating in the world. I just read this news report. It's all over the news tonight. Maybe this is all going to be all over by tomorrow, but that it's come out that Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK, has now acknowledged that a man he brought into a senior ministerial position in his government in 2019, there were allegations of sexual misconduct around this guy, and it's become revealed that Boris Johnson knew about that and he kind of overlooked this. And now there's been two cabinet ministers, senior cabinet ministers, who resigned in the space of half an hour. It seems like his government is, hanging by a hair. But there was this one line that I read in this news article that just just had my fire just ignited, which was where it said that, this minister who's been accused of sexual misconduct, his second name is Pincher. And apparently Boris Johnson didn't deny having made the joke, Pincher by name, Pincher by nature. And that just makes my blood boil, and I'm not saying this from a position that's like against the Conservative Party or for any other party. I'm saying this from a place that is for us and for the fact that we can do better, and is for leadership, and is for clean power, and is for humanity standing up, for clean power, for an update and an evolution of our relationship to leadership, so that we are not just settling from a place of apathy and powerlessness and cynicism for leadership that is just horrendous, like this era, which is a substantial era, like the joke that Boris Johnson made in this scenario is just the fact that he found it reasonable to joke about, a minister who he continued to actually then promote their behavior in sexual misconduct towards a woman is just utterly inexcusable. It's just frankly inexcusable as far as the standards of leadership, that we need to be asking of the people who are going to hold power to represent us. It is a tragic and in many ways crazy thing that in politics, so many people have a perception that the people we give the most power to are the people who we actually trust the least. That actually the people whose character we trust the least, whose integrity we trust the least. There's where I come from in Great Britain, there is such a level of cynicism about the degree to which anyone who goes into politics can be in any way trusted, or is not just actually a fundamentally untrustable, deviant human being. And I'm not saying that is politicians. I'm saying that's where we've ended up as far as the perception is concerned, because of why? Because of these continual failures of integrity, these continual failures of leadership. And that's demonstrated itself in Boris Johnson's government. It's remarkable, quite frankly, how many utter failures of integrity and failures of leadership have been revealed over the past months, including the fact that he and his government, who made the rules for COVID contact restrictions during lockdown, then actually flagrantly broke them many times with parties that involved obvious breakings of the rules that they themselves created, that the Prime Minister was even involved in certain circumstances. This is part of a bigger thing. It's part of humanity hasn't really started to understand yet what it takes to hold power. That what it takes to hold power requires a level of human maturity and human development, which is not just about expertise. It's not just about, this person's had a banking background, so maybe they're trustable to hold power in relationship to the Department of Finance in a government. It's not enough. That actually we want people in power who truly represent the whole in their development, in their heart, in their soul opening, in their soul maturity, in their embodiment, people who have done deep purpose work, deep shadow work, deep soul work, deep men's work, deep women's work, deep trauma healing, who are exemplars of a higher frequency of what it means to be a human being, and by virtue of that carry humanity in their heart, in their soul, in their body, and can therefore represent humanity. Truly, not just from a mental choice of, oh, I'm in this job now, but because that lives in their heart. The most exemplary and inspiring human beings I've ever come into contact with are human beings who, men and women of all races and backgrounds and financial statuses, feel deeply connected to and inspired by, because they can feel a piece of their humanity in those people, because those people represent humanity, because of how deep they've gone in their own journey, because of how deep they've gone in their own soul, because of how deep they've embodied that, and because of the leadership that stood up in them to be able to stand and serve in the world. There are fundamental requirements for leadership that we need to collectively ask for. This is one of the pieces that Singularity holds point for, an update to the way we do leadership and the way we do representation, so that we don't continue an illusion of perfection in our leaders, because they're human beings, but we absolutely demand a level of integrity and accountability and transparency, and an established commitment to really represent humanity. That is the fundamental baseline for anyone to be considered worthy of putting in a position of power where it is their role to represent us. So, yeah, this needs to change. And this isn't because I or Singularity are anti-Boris Johnson or anti-conservative or anti any other leader that has demonstrated failures of integrity. We've all had failures of integrity, but it's what we do about it and the integrity and the accountability that we step into as a result of that that matters. So, yeah, watch this space for Singularity offering something different, because we need this. We collectively need this. We need to restore honor in power and leadership.